Okay, it's March 18th, 2022. Checking these bees for the first time this year, really. Today has been 72, 74 degrees. The skunk cabbage pollen is just roaring in. I'm down here in North Franklin, Connecticut. You can see over my shoulders Can Tractor if you're familiar with the area. It's a great spot for a bee yard. I got a big yard here. And like I said, I'm doing the first walkthrough on these bees this year. I came through here about a month ago, and they all seem to have pretty good stores, so I didn't do much about it. Right now there's plenty of pollen coming in. I've been looking at bees all afternoon. Plenty of stores. This hive doesn't appear to be any different. Typical of what you would see in a cluster of bees this time of the year here in Connecticut. They're up into the top box, and they're occupying about 5 frames. Let's see what they look like down below. Judging by the weight of this hive, there's plenty of food. There, about another 5 frames down below. Not a huge colony, not a small colony. Big colonies like this all day long. So I'm just going to give them a pollen patty right in between the frames, between the boxes. For a little back history on these things, these are some nukes that I made up in July of last year. Built them into doubles, got them ready for the winter. So you would normally expect that the populations would be as big as a colony that was in its, maturity. But they're very good. Let's cover back down here. I'll take out the feeder and just look to see what I got for pollen in this hive. Well, some of the hives I've been looking at have been storing some. Problem is that our nectar and pollen flow at this time of the year can be very janky. So there's pollen right here. I would expect that the next frame over would have brood. The bees would be preparing it for the queen. And it's exactly what I see. We've got brood in all stages here. We've got eggs, unsealed larvae, and larvae here that they're just capping. They'll soon be pupating. There's a nice rim of pollen here, a nice rim of pollen there. But in reality, we'll look at all the unsealed brood over here. One thing that I'm seeing, this colony does not have a huge amount of stores. Several frames over here that have honey in them. I will begin to feed this colony sugar syrup in a week. Probably first part of the week, really. But I don't want these things to lose any of their momentum. Put the feeder back in. Everybody always asks, what do you feed? I only feed in the springtime just 1-to-1. That's all they need. Gives them a little bit of a semblance to nectar. Just bring it down, bring it in, store it easily. Okay, that hive's done. Let's look at the next one. See what we got going on here. Okay, this hive is again up at the top super, top hive body, whatever you want to call them. Looks like it's got a much better population. Put the undercover down there, those bees can walk in. Okay, pry these babies apart. What do we see? Oh yeah, look at that. Look at that hive. That's a nice hive. This is a beauty right here. Already starting to see a little bit of drone brood here, which is surprising. Not a lot of it. There's some. So the first thing I want to do is I want to look in here. I can see already that this is drone brood here. I need to make sure that these bees have worker brood. I'm a little surprised to see drone brood right now, but by the size of the colony. We've got all this comb in between the boxes is full of the drones. Could indicate that there's a bad queen in here. It also indicates there's a lot of worker brood. I gotta see what's going on. Days like today, you can work these bees without getting anywhere. Here's a frame of pollen. Expect to see brood here. And some worker brood. And a lot of worker brood here. concerned about the condition of this colony, really, the condition of the queen. Oh yeah, here's plenty of worker brood here. Okay, so we frame a worker brood, a little like moon-shaped, half moon-shaped pattern of brood coming down from the upper box. That means the queen's probably in the upper box. Same thing here. So this lower box is pretty much empty. Typical of this yard, the stores are a little bit lower than I'd like to see. But I'll be back here in a very short time with some 50-50 sugar syrup. Okay, so we've gone through that lower box. We've seen everything we need to see there. Activity is going to be in the upper box here. Get rid of those little drones. We don't need them. Plenty of feed in this box here. All right, let's see what we look like up top. Take out the feeder. I always leave my feeders in pretty much year round. Later on, when we start talking about swarm control, swarm reduction, I'll show you when I take them out. Frame of honey and pollen. Lots and lots and lots of pollen here. Lots and lots of brood. Look at all this brood here. All this nice, beautiful worker brood. Nice rim of honey, of pollen here. Some honey up in the upper corners. This is one of these colonies that, with the population that they have and the amount of brood that they're rearing, look at all this capped brood here. Unbelievable. This is frame number 3 of brood so far. Plus the equivalent of 1 down below. That's 4. There's 5. Not looking for the queen. If I see her, great. If I don't, great. Okay, eggs. Target-rich environment for finding the queen. You'll see her. I'm really looking for it. But over here, I've got plenty of honey. So I can see right over here 4 more frames with a lot of honey. So I'm not worried about this colony starving out. The amount of brood that they're rearing, I'm still going to give them pollen patty. The reason why is because we can have good pollen flow today, tomorrow, and we can have 3 days with no pollen. So if you get a week of rain, no pollen coming in, shut the queens right off. So right now until the end of March, I make sure I keep pollen patties in every single one of these colonies. So here we are. I'm going to leave my, you can see I have a pink insulation panel here. I'm going to leave that on here again till the end of the month. Let's put this little baby up. Okay. One more thing I'm going to do. Peel off this mouse guard screen here. There's no need to have that now. Colony like this, if the mouse decided to be stupid enough to get in there, you'd kill that mouse in a heartbeat. So, yeah, pretty much what I'm expecting to see all the way along. I'm going to start feeding sugar syrup next week. Some of these colonies are a little light. If I find one that's too light, I can always grab a frame of honey from another one, shift it around a little bit. I've got a couple of cones of honey in the trunk too, so don't worry about starving them this week, but next week will be time to get sugar syrup on them. Even if they have good stores, you want to keep that nectar coming in, okay, because it gives a degree of stimulation to the bees. I was in a yard, a mile or so from here up on top of the hill, and had what looked like wet nectarine. And I stuck my hive tool in it, tasted it. Boy, it tasted just like maple sap, maple syrup. And I got to thinking about where that might have come from, and it probably came from sap. I mean, they were making maple syrup up until yesterday. We haven't had any freezing temperatures, and they all say the season's over, but you see honeybees on maple trees where there's a wound or something, or they're collecting sap. And I was wondering if that colony perhaps had done that. So it's one of those other things you think about. I guess it's sugar, sugar is sugar. All the bees looking for with honey is carbohydrate, and maple sap's got sugar in it, and therefore carbohydrate. So anyway, I have to get back to work. I got a lot of bees to work today. Got to head out to New York, check my bees out there.